How's it going, guys? I'm Matt, and in this video I'm going to skip the excessive pleasantries and get right into it. The first build I'm going to show is the one-shot boss killer. I'm not sure who first built it, but I found it from LaserBolt. This build requires the Lyuda, specifically the fire variety. You'll also want the Recharger Shield, the Phase Zerker class mod that boosts sniper damage, and you want some sort of artifact that boosts your damage by 183% by the element that you're currently being damaged by. Now that you've gotten this far into the video, I'm going to go a little more in depth into the build. First of all, I'm going to show you its weakness, which if the crit spot isn't immediately available, then you aren't going to shred the boss's health. So right now I'm going to show you the gameplay of me taking on the Rampager. So before I take on the Rampager, I thought I'd show you my build. So to start with, for my skill tree, I have my 5 points in Anima, my 5 points in Tempest, my 3 points in Personal Space, 4 in Clarity, plus a bonus from my mod, and then 5 in Helping Hand. Then the bulk of the build is going to be the Mystical Assault. And this one is a little different from the one that I showed you at the beginning. I added more points into Do Harm in the Violent Tapestry because I don't care too much about reload speed, and it just boosts the damage for the build. So next up, my items is going to be, I have the Molten Vicious Lyuda, the Vicious Lyuda, the Recharger Shield, the Phase Zerker class mod, this Elemental Projector artifact, and a low-level epicenter to give myself some fire damage to myself. So then also for my Guardian rank, I do have a couple of things unlocked, so that's that. So it will affect it a little bit, but not too much. So anyway, let's get right into showing you the gameplay for the boss. Next up, I'm going to show you this build's main purpose, which is taking on the Grave Ward. So once again, I'll show you my build just to let you know that it's all the same. So once again, I have the same Lyudas, I have the Recharger Shield, the Epicenter Grenade, la-de-la. Got the same trees. You're welcome to just look at them, but I'm just going to show you briefly. Then I have the same Guardian rank. So now I'm just going to go rush into it, and I'm not going to cut my audio off because it should be pretty quick. I might not get it in the first round, but it will melt it pretty darn quickly. First off, I'm going to get myself the burn damage. Wait for him to lift that up. Once it's level, I'm going to run over here as close as possible so I can do the most damage. And boom. And that is how this build works. So first off, like you saw, you damage yourself, then you run up, shoot him with your ability, and then you pump him full of lead. So that's this build's primary goal, to take the Grave Ward out as quick as possible. Up last, I'm just going to show you the general combat of this build. So once again, I'll show you that the build is in fact the same. You're welcome to pause it to double check, but I'm not going to go specifically over it. So there's my skill tree. Those of you might have noticed that when I took on the Grave Ward, I didn't change my action element, and it would have taken him down a little bit quicker, even though he already got taken down ridiculously quickly. So yeah, there's that. Time to show you the general gameplay. So that was a little bit of the general combat. I'm not the best at the game, but it does give you a general idea that you aren't invulnerable in this build, and you aren't going to just do insane amounts of damage unless it's a specific boss. So to recap, the weakness of this build is if the enemy moves around a lot, you aren't going to be able to kill it very well. If it doesn't have easily hit crit spots, you aren't going to be able to kill it very well. So the point of this build is to take on bosses like the Grave Ward, who have really obvious crit spots and don't really move all that much. Another prime candidate is the Chupacabra, but we'll save that for another time. So overall, I give this build a pretty darn good score. out of 10. It isn't perfect, but it does get the job done, and it's pretty fun to shred the gray board that fast. So thanks everybody for watching. If you like this video, subscribe. I do live stream every Wednesday.